Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic edition of DialogBOX, also known as the show that makes critics go, I don't know what that is. Tonight we have three very lovely guests, as always. We have Twitch streamer and content creator, Masayanella. Hello.
Hello, that's me.
We have Twitch streamer and content creator, Josh Jepson.
Hi.
And we have Proton John.
Hi. That's me. Sure is.
That's him.
Cat Daddy, Proton John.
Cat Daddy.
That just sounds real bad.
Yo, I'm one of them cat daddies. Yeah.
Cat Daddy,
No.
Proton John.
You play a lot of jazz.
I used to play tenor sax. So.
So tonight we have what I like to call the games we played in the year of our Lord 2019. The first anniversary of the games we played 2018 edition, part 2, Electric Boogaloo: The Revenge.
And
The
Knuckles.
Revenge of the Electric Boogaloo.
He is electric and he is pissed. All right, so last time we kind of talked about like runners up, and one of the things that I kind of wanted to do instead this time to just be a little bit more conversationally is to just talk about our year in review, and so that's what we're going to do instead. Basically, a lot of my year was just like kind of taking care of games that I hadn't finished last year. I finally finished Dragon Quest XI. Just got the platinum on it. I think 170 hours.
170 hours.
Nice.
Wow.
It was a lot.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Very much so.
It's too much.
A lot of it was just, it's a lot. And a lot of it was just crafting.
Was there any mining involved?
No, just beating up bad guys and taking their shit and then just crafting better stuff out of it. But then I also went back and played some really couple older games. I finally beat Spyro the Dragon for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Dope. Nice.
I went and beat Dragon Warrior for the NES, but then I also beat the Switch version. Not really
Nice.
back to back.
Nice.
Onimusha, never played that before. Came out on PS4 for $20, and I beat it in one sitting.
Oh my god.
Oh.
That was another one where I was like, I could get the platinum, but I'm not going to. And then a couple of downers, Sonic Forces. It's not that bad.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's not.
It's
When I-
not that bad.
When it was coming
It's
out,
just
I
also not
remember
that
people-
good.
Look, so I bought it the weekend it came out, and it's only significant because this was when Toys R Us was still struggling and pretending that it's not going to go out of business. And so what they were doing was they were buy one get one for half off, and the game was already $40. So I think I bought Ultra Sun because I'm also just incapable of making decent choices, and then I bought Sonic Forces for half off. So
At least you didn't pay full price for it.
checkmate. Yeah, basically.
And then you get to
It's
make
not-
your Sonic OC.
I did. He's a good boy. You get trophies for making multiple Sonic OCs, so
my
I
God.
feel like this is a deviant artist's dream.
Look, Sega knew what they were
It's my
doing.
favorite game
They
ever.
really did.
No, they hit the nail on the head here.
You just couldn't make an echidna, and apparently that's where everyone's upset. I'm like,
Oh.
really? That's why you're upset?
No.
Did you actually play the game?
No, I'm upset about that. Personally. This personally affects me.
I need
don't
my
know,
dreads.
I like Knuckles, but yeah, canonically can't.
There's only what,
There's
if you,
one. There's literally just
yeah,
one. It's just
if
Knuckles.
you play the games, it's just one. If you read the comics, there's 30.
All right,
yeah,
I
but
guess that makes
most
sense.
of them have died at some point.
If it's
Yes.
a lore reason, I guess that makes sense.
It's a really bad lore reason. Anyway, how did your years go? Masay, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. I basically played a lot of shorter games, mainly for streaming. I didn't play a whole lot of games just on my free time, but I played like Donut County, which was essentially me as a video
That's
game.
a good game. That is a good
It's
game.
so cute.
If you just want to see literally me as a video game, it's Donut County. It felt really weird actually. I played Wadham, Untitled Goose Game. Those are both real good.
So good.
And for longer games that I kind of got into, I started playing The Witcher 3. I got about 40 hours in.
So did I actually.
Really? Nice.
I didn't get
I'm
hours
so
in,
afraid
though.
of that game.
Yeah,
Are you
I
both
got like
Watching
40
the
hours
show,
in.
or did you just really feel like getting into The Witcher?
I did watch the show.
I did. I started playing it before the show even came out.
Was it just when it came out on Switch, or are you playing it on PC?
I played it on PC. I started playing it maybe like a couple months before it came out on Switch, so I was like, well, that sucks. It would have been nice to have it portable, but laptop is fine too.
It's one of those miracle games where you're just kind of like, I don't know how you got that on that thing.
But yeah, I'm like super into it, but I got to this point where it was like this super moral decision, and I was like, I can't make a decision right now. And so I was
God.
yeah, I'll come back later, and I just haven't gone back to it yet.
Oh,
but
no.
I'm planning on finishing that this year eventually.
All right.
But games that I actually finished, I finished Tales of Berseria and Zanki Zero. So those
I've
were
heard of one of
okay.
those.
Yeah, Berseria is good. It's better than Zestiria. I have some opinions.
Such a low bar.
It improves Zestiria just by existing. Zanki Zero is just weird. That was a really weird game. I don't know
Has
why
anybody
I
else
the
played
whole
that?
thing. Probably not.
I'm not even entirely sure what that game is, to be honest.
Are we all Googling it right now? Is that what's happening?
No.
It's like dungeon crawler, Danganronpa survival game visual novel.
That sounds like
So many things.
when you watch BoJack Horseman and they talk about like a new TV show and they just merge concepts together and they're just words.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds dope.
It's actually really interesting.
It's
Like, if you're
60% off right now on Steam.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
shoot. Nice.
Good deal.
That is a good deal, actually.
It's in
worth
21
trying.
hours.
So nobody can take
Oh,
advantage of
I've
this
seen
except
someone
us.
streaming this. I've
Oh,
seen
did
this
you?
streamed. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, it's actually pretty good, and the story is interesting. It's just bizarre.
Oh, this also has bladder mechanics.
Yeah, it does have bladder mechanics.
Take that, Kojima. Well, Josh, I guess we can move on to you.
Yeah, so I didn't play a ton. I didn't finish a ton of games this last year
too.
that was super memorable. But one of the games that really stood out to me, the game that I played this year that really popped out was Horizon Zero Dawn, because I
want to play
it-
that.
I did not play it back in
Ooh.
2017, and I was missing out.
Ooh.
And I technically haven't finished it, but I've done so much in that game, I'm counting it. Yeah, no,
I want to play that real bad.
it's really
I mean, if you
good.
wait long enough, the PC version's going to come out.
Yeah.
I know. I'm waiting on that, actually.
If you got a big rig.
I decided I was going to finally gear up and do it because I feel like we're probably on the cusp of Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or Horizon 2 or whatever. So I think that's going to be a good thing. I'm obviously the other games that I played this year that were just eat up all my time is Smash Brothers. Obviously, like I feel like we all played so much Smash Brothers this past year, even though that came out in 2018. It was like we and I got Banjo, so I'm just like over the moon. So this has been a good year in gaming for that. But I haven't really done, besides that, I really haven't played much else. Link's Awakening remake came out, and that's something that I was really excited for when it came out, but then I don't know what happened, but partway through it I just realized like I just want to play the original. Like I don't partway through it I was like I just rather play the original. There was a lot of really great quality of life improvements in that game though.
My problem was I'm like, do I want to play through this game again? I love this game, but do I want to do this again?
I've actually never played Link's Awakening.
It's one of my favorites.
It is my favorite Zelda.
Wow.
It's
But
really
that's
good.
like in the original game, they had this weird glitch where if you brought up the map when you were about to scroll screens, it warped you to the end of the next screen, so you could break that game a lot. It was like
Interesting.
super fun to break apart.
I feel like that was one of the first like kind of game breaking techs that you could do in a video game. But like I remember that was actually featured in Nintendo Powers as like a cheat code practically that you could do. Whereas like, yeah, just do that. I never got it to work, but I didn't try that hard.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening was like a game I played like 3 or 4 times just this past year because I was gearing up for that Zelda-thon for ZU-thon last year.
Yeah.
And I wound up digging holes and making Cody voices instead the entire time.
Oh, good old Cody Davies.
Yeah, Cody Davies. And then late. So by the time I played the Switch version, it was nice to have that like frame of reference. I think the only problem I had with it was that the Dungeon Maker requirement for a piece of heart, for like 2 pieces of heart.
Yeah, there was some like artificial fluff with that game that did not settle well with me, and I think that's why I was just like, I would rather play the original. Just the Dungeon Maker thing just didn't sit well with me. Like some of the added like, they just tried to put too much in it, and like they muddled it up a little bit.
If they did that, they probably wanted to force people to actually try it.
Yeah.
Get some feedback.
That's probably what it is. That's kind of what I was
But it's
thinking,
like-
like for a future
They-
Zelda Maker kind of deal.
Yeah,
It's
they probably
cool.
were like testing out for a Zelda Maker.
Yeah. Or other Zelda concepts in general.
Yeah.
But now I have to do it every time if I want 100% file.
Yeah.
All right. John, how about you?
I don't play video games, so I don't know why I'm here.
Oh.
Get out of here.
Okay,
Wow.
bye. No,
Cat Daddy.
cat daddies. No, I played a fair amount actually. I'm actually surprised at how much I played. Both that came out this past year and also from previous years. So I have a thing I do on stream where I will set a goal for the year for game clearing. It'll be games that I've never beaten before, and then I'll be like, all right, I want to beat X amount of games. So last year I did A to Z. So we did a game starting with A, then B, and etc., just down in order. And I picked a really interesting list, to say the least. What's some good choices here? Asura's Wrath was a real good one. That's
I
basically just
thought
a
that was a
movie.
big one.
That's just a movie, but it's a good movie. Or an anime, I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah, especially when you get to the DLC part of it.
Interactive anime.
The Street Fighter DLC is hilarious. Let's see what else. The original Doom I beat for the first time because I wasn't allowed to play it as a kid. For obvious
I know that
reasons.
feeling.
I can't imagine why.
Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition.
Guacamole is really good.
One of my mods literally modded in one of our stream mascots as a playable character into the game, so we were running around playing as Robert Cop the entire time. It was great.
Oh yeah, I think I do remember that.
Guacamole, that's great.
Played through the original Jet Set Radio. That game was not as good as I remember.
Oh, really?
The original Jet Set Radio has aged worse than Future, in my opinion. I'm very biased because I played Future first, and that has a lot of quality of life improvements that Set didn't have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because people revere Set.
Yeah, no.
It's held in really high
I felt bad
regard.
because I was just like, God, I'm not having fun right now. I think I spent most of that playthrough being like, why am I not playing Future instead? I'm like, shit, I like half the designs better in Future. I'm like, okay, no, never mind. That one's still good. The problem is, like, Future can't exist without the original because half the music in Future is just remixes of the original soundtrack.
Right.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
But they're all better remixes.
Yeah, so you're just used to all the better versions.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh God, why did I do this?
And you're just playing it going like, oh wow, this is why the Dreamcast failed.
No, the Dreamcast failed
Zing.
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, a lot of reasons.
Yep.
It's like a separate podcast.
Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, that was a weird one. Just hold your DS as like sideways as a book and then just play a Ninja Gaiden game.
What?
Yeah,
it's
no.
weird.
Yeah, no, it's a purely stylus controlled Ninja Gaiden game, modern Ninja Gaiden. And
That's
it's
interesting.
weird. It was okay. It was probably one of the better like motion or like stylus controlled games I've played in a while. It's still janky at times, but like it was really ambitious for the DS.
I still have the katana stylus that you get for pre-ordering.
Oh man,
it.
why does everyone have that damn katana stylus but me? I'm the fucking
Because
Ninja
I
Gaiden fan.
stole it.
Oh, that'd be why.
Because I was working there at the time.
I wasn't at the time. I think I just missed it, or I think I either quit just before or had got hired on just after, and I couldn't find any.
Yeah. My first day working at GameStop was I got a Rock Band T-shirt, and I was like, cool. So this is what it's like working here. And it's like, well, no, it's kind of all downhill from here.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, get a free T-shirt or have health care.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Resident Evil Director's Cut. So the original Resident Evil with the basement music and a bunch of other and the amazing voice acting. That was a fun experience. Star Fox Assault, which is better than most people give that credit
Hey.
for.
It's real good.
I have a hard
Ex-
time playing that game, actually.
I'm
I've
gonna
given
say,
it a fair shake, but like just the tank.
Have
it's
you
weird.
tried the
'Cause,
different
like-
control schemes? Because they.
Yes, it's hard
Oh.
for me.
All right.
I need to go back and try it again because I really want to like it. I really do, but I just have a hard time with the.
It has the best soundtrack.
I
so
liked it
good.
a lot, except for one stage. One stage can go to hell.
Is that the one where you're standing on Wolf's Wing, or?
No, that's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's the second last stage, the gauntlet, for lack of a better term,
Oh, okay.
where you have to do like 6 missions and then they give you a checkpoint after the 6 missions.
Oh Jesus.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I haven't played that game in like 15 years. It's been a long
Literally half
time.
my chat was like, "Oh, you're gonna hate this." I'm like, "Oh, you're right, I do." I forgot I played Virtual Boy Wario Land, so I did a Virtual Boy game on stream, and then I did Zelda the Wand of Gamelon.
Oh, and how was that?
Fun.
I had fun with that. I like the CDI Zelda games because they're not terrible games. They're just not the best games. They're okay. They're average games with silly things.
Yeah, and they're just
this-
goofy as hell.
Yeah, and I like this one better than Link: The Faces of Evil because you don't have to grind out snowballs and fireballs. You just have to grind out money. While in that one, you have to grind out all 3.
Nice. What a way to end the year.
Yeah. I had fun. It was great. And that's just the shit that came out any other time. I'll keep my actual stuff for later, I guess, unless you want me to talk about it.
Bottled up. Well, unless we want to talk about our top threes now.
Might as well
Yeah,
go
we
to it.
can.
So I guess I'll start since
Go
I
for it.
started the previous
Sure thing.
thing. But my number 3 that I actually changed this like 2 seconds ago. I have a list. But my number 3 was Overcooked 2.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Wow, that was last year? For some reason, I thought that was 2 years ago.
No, it's just I didn't beat it until last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we
The
started
game
it
that
late.
makes people want to kill each other.
Actually, no. Or at least not in my case. Because
Really?
we started Overcooked with DM and her friends, and then we kept playing it. And so, like, it's myself, DM, and 2 friends. One of them is kind of like, she knows games, but then the other one is, like, just not, like, doesn't play games at all.
Oh.
But she got super into it. And not only that, but, like, we 3-starred everything from the first Overcooked.
Aw, that's cool.
Oh, fun.
That's really cool.
And so we were able to build that like camaraderie and the teamwork there. And then when Overcooked 2 came out, we started playing it. We just didn't finish it. And it might have actually been in my runners up for last year. But we finished it officially earlier in this year. And then we started going on to the DLC, and the DLC is hard. Like, it's pretty okay to 3-star everything in the main game, but a lot of the DLC were just kind of like, did this game get really hard? All of a sudden, like, it's really, not only do you have to be on point, but you basically, like, you have to be better than perfect if you want 3 stars, and it's incredible the amount of, like, teamwork and the amount of just, like, decision making that you have to do that goes into it, and just following up on everything, and, you know, devising roles for each player and how you're going to tackle each obstacle is, like, it's really fun to do, and you feel really good when you're able to just, like, there are just some levels where we've spent legitimate hours grinding through just to get the 3rd star, and it's so rewarding and refreshing to, like, get it.
It's also gonna be cool to like share like a really cool gaming experience with somebody who doesn't play a lot of games. Like that's always a really satisfying thing to like give somebody a really cool gaming moment that they don't normally get.
Yeah, and even to the point where the fact that she just is really into it too, where I didn't really expect all of us to actually try to attempt to 3-star everything, and then almost be perfectionist and try to get that 4th star once you beat the game. So it was a good time. I really enjoyed it, and it's my number 3.
Yay, that's awesome.
We'll go with Masay down the list same way as last time.
Okay, my number 3 is probably gonna be A Hat in Time.
Oh,
It was just like, it's so good.
yes.
I kind of struggled to like put it either at number 2 or number 3, but I think just by a hair, it's in number 3. It's so good. It exceeded basically all of my expectations, literally every single one of them. Because for the
Same.
longest time, I saw it and I was like, I mean, I guess it's kind of cute, kind of sort of, because it very much advertised itself as like, this is the cutest game ever, and I'm like, it looks okay, I guess. But it's a lot cuter in motion and with the dialogue, and like the physics in it feels super satisfying and smooth, and I just fell in love with it. I played a couple stages in, I was like, all right, I'm into this, let's do this. I just wish it were like, I just wish it had a couple more worlds. Personally, I really wish
yeah.
that
Well, they
had
did
a
add
little
some
bit
stuff
more.
with DLC
They did,
that sort of
and that
fleshes out the whole experience a
yeah,
little bit
it
more.
did. But I like it a lot. It good.
It real good.
It
Real good.
So I guess, I guess my number 3, is so all of mine. I decided that I was going to for sure pick games that came out in 2019 that I finished, and so my number 3 is Untitled Goose Game, because I had to put it on here. Because because for me, Untitled Goose Game was kind of a bit of a surprise, because while everybody else was like memeing about it, I didn't really like pick up on any of that, and I just played it. Like somebody in my chat was like, you should play Untitled Goose Game, and they didn't really like hype it up to me or anything. So I didn't go, I went into it completely with zero knowledge of what was going to happen.
Oh, that's cool.
So that to me was a good experience, and I'm glad that I had that. So that's why I'm putting Goose Game on number 3
that's
there.
really cool. I was like really hyped for Goose Game ever since basically the first announcement.
Yeah, I kept hearing people talk about it, and then I never saw anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. I kept hearing Untitled Goose Game. Like, what is this game?
I got to go to this like Nintendo indie thing when it first got announced.
Oh, dope.
And yeah, and so I got to play the demo there, and ever since then I was just like, Goose Game, Goose Game, Goose Game.
Yes. Oh, I had a lot of fun with it. Super, super funny game. Like, so weird and like kind of out there for a game, and I just like I enjoyed it.
It's so cute.
I really enjoyed it. It was adorable.
My number 3 is Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night.
Ooh.
Good
So when that got announced, I was so pumped for it. Like, I had been waiting for a while. I love the Metroidvanias that Castlevania had for the longest time. So like I had like growing up all the DS ones, all the Game Boy Advance ones, and then I didn't get into Symphony of the Night until like I think by the time the DS ones were already like mostly done coming out. And just, I love them all. I think they're all like super recommendable games to play. So hearing that the original creator of those wanted to make another one, I was super in, and it honestly did not disappoint.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really got to get my hands on that.
It was a lot deeper than I thought it was. I never finished it, but I played a really, really large chunk of it, and I was a lot deeper than I initially thought it was going to be. So
Oh yeah, no, it's got a huge castle, and like there's a lot of different. You can play in a lot of different styles, which I really like. That's why I like when he does those kind of games.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I can't remember what I was watching, but somebody was like, really the last game of its kind to come out was Order of Ecclesia, and that was like 2008 or 9 or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's pretty much 10 years since the last 2D Igavania game.
It's been a hot minute.
There's been a lot of Metroidvania games that have like picked up the slack and have definitely done a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, there's just something comforting about playing like the game from the original.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go to number 2, and my number 2 is actually the only game. I'm actually looking at it. I think it's like the only game on my list from 2019 that I've actually one of 2 games on my list that I've actually beaten, but it's the only one in my top 3. Resident Evil 2.
Ooh,
So
nice.
that is actually the first time I've played Resident Evil 2, and I understand that there's some changes there. Like, they actually retcon some story bits here and there, but it's always been really difficult for me to play the original 3. My first one was 4. I went 4, 5, 6, and I actually haven't played 7 yet, so eventually I'll get into that, but just kind of being able to play 2 with a fresh coat of paint, and it actually does bring back a lot of the survival horror stuff. There were just times so I played Leon's campaign first, and there were just times in that where I was like, I don't have anything. I might be screwed, and I might have to start over. And there were I trucked through it. I'm actually surprised I even beat Leon's campaign. But like to the opposite, when I started playing Claire's, I was like pretty much a Scrooge with everything, to the point where I didn't really need to like save up as many. Like, my whole case was filled with herbs, and I'm like, yeah, but like, is she really limping or is she faking it? Like, come on, like I can hold on to this for a little bit longer. And I didn't have half the problems, but I think just the sense of this really feels like Capcom finally gets it again as to what made Resident Evil really good in terms of that survival horror, but kind of merges that with that action style and that behind the shoulder camera angles of 4 and 5. And I think it's such an excellent merge of the two. The difficulty's really nice, but I didn't feel like, even if I had to start over, I wasn't going to get too upset about it. And it's like, I'm really excited to kind of see now that 3's gotten announced. I'm really happy about that. So I'm really looking forward to just Resident Evil at this point, especially after 6.
That's when a remake really, really, really lands, is when they make it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but you know kind of what I'm getting at, like, yeah, where they actually make quality of life improvements and not just here's the same shit you played 10 years ago.
Well, but at the same time, it understands what it was
understands
about.
The core of what it's supposed to be, but it still improves on the things that you loved about it.
Yep, exactly. So that was my number 2.
That's dope.
Yeah. Okay.
Masay, you go next.
Okay. Like, wait, what order are we going in again?
Now you speak.
So I think Andrew's gonna like this one.
Oh boy.
My number 2 is Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
I forgot to talk about it because I didn't beat it, but I spent like 70 hours on it.
I beat it. It was really cute and fun, and I sunk way too many hours into it. It's one of the few games that I actually did like finish on my own time, and I loved it. It was so nice and uplifting, and it was just a nice game to settle down with and just kind of relax with. Like, it was nothing super in depth or anything. Like, the story wasn't anything that's gonna like light your entire world on fire, but it was just really simple, really nice, and just building things is fun.
Well, and what I love about it is, and what I love about 2 versus the original was that when you play the original, every time you go to a new place, you literally start from scratch. Oh. And what they did in 2 is that they gave you this gigantic island to take everyone back to. Oh, and then they give you all these extra like sub quests to do. And that's where I spent most of my time, was that I was just kind of like, yeah, but before I go to do the more story stuff, I guess I should, build 17 houses, build a store.
Yeah, I did a lot of that.
Just little stuff here and there.
Build a room in the sky? Why not?
That's right. Because the game told me to.
Exactly. Now I have this giant tree that just literally scrapes the sky, and there's a teeny tiny little room up top. Yep. I'm like, I'm going to turn this into my bedroom.
For me.
No one else.
I can never get up there.
So.
Yeah, Builders 2 is great. So
yeah.
No, that's super dope. So I guess my number 2 is Luigi's Mansion 3.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Hey.
feel like they did it. They actually did it. You know what I mean?
They made a third game.
They
finally
actually
did it.
They
The
made a
son of
third
a
game.
bitches really did it.
and it takes the best elements of the first two and really actually makes a good third game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I needed a game this year that was more puzzles and thinking and less like crazy action in your face, because I've been playing a lot of that stuff with Smash Bros, and like I've been playing a little bit more Overwatch again, and like so I'm all in like all this high action stuff, and even my number one is actually kind of like a little bit more of a fast paced game, and so I needed something a little slower pace. And what I did with Luigi's Mansion 3 is I went into the settings immediately and turned off the hints, because EGAD pops up with like a bajillion hints every time you take, just slightly too long on a puzzle or something. And so I turned that off like right at the beginning of the game and did the whole game without these extra hints. And I think that made for a little bit of a different experience, because I actually had to think and like the game isn't just holding my hand the whole way through. And so it actually was a little difficult for me. And I needed a little bit more of a brain challenge. But yeah, they did it. I mean, Luigi's Mansion 3 is awesome. And they nailed the aesthetic with the hotel and everything. Like I feel like that's the perfect setting for the third game, and the just having all the floors be the different worlds essentially that have all the different themes, and yeah, it worked perfectly. And the progression was so cool with like getting the buttons and like going up each floor, and I just think that they did a very fantastic job. I'm very proud of Nintendo. So pat on the back, Nintendo.
Yeah. Go get yourselves a nice bucket of ice cream.
Nice ice cream, yeah.
Yeah. You deserve it.
Golden ice cream.
All right, speaking of companies that did a good job, Capcom did a good job, because my number 2 is Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah. Man, they were really pumping out the hits this year.
Yeah, no, they were swinging hard this year. They did real good, because they had Resident Evil 2, and they also had the Monster Hunter World expansion, Iceborne.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that,
heard
Yeah.
that's really glitchy on PC right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, yeah,
scared.
their PC version wasn't the best from what I heard, but
I'm
they'll
really
fix
scared.
it. They'll fix it. Devil May Cry 5 was just such a return to form for a series that had been kind of stagnant for about a decade. Because Devil May Cry 4, I think, was like 2008.
Yes. Because
And-
I that's like my first special edition I ever bought.
And then they did DMC Devil May Cry, which was just a reboot / alt universe, and that was a completely different studio that did that, and they pissed off a lot of fans with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So people basically thought the series was dead at that point, and then suddenly it was like, oh no, here's actually Devil May Cry 5. It's actually back with the characters you like, and it actually continues the story, and it's actually really good.
Sorry, we forgot you
Yay.
guys liked anime.
Yeah, well that is that game. It's just like anime shit happens all the time. That game somehow simultaneously has my favorite character and my least favorite character in it, which is very impressive. My least
That's
favorite
a high.
My least favorite character is V, because he's not fun to play as. But there is something really stupid about walking around a battlefield and reading poetry while like you send like a panther and a bird and a giant rock monster to go fight things for you.
Oh my god.
It sounds
Eh.
like I would like him a lot.
You might. I don't know. He looks like Adam Driver a lot, or like
Yes.
Chris Angel.
Yeah, I remember the Adam Driver memes when that game came out.
Yeah. But my
Not quite
favorite
as buff though.
My favorite character is Van, because Van does so much good stuff. Like anytime you find a phone booth, and you're like, all right, I need to call Nico. I need to get some upgrades. You just call on the phone, and then something stupid happens with the van, and then it's just like, all right, you are my favorite character.
I still love the one where. I mean, I guess I shouldn't spoil it, but yeah, there is
I
one.
just Googled van DMC5 and I was expecting an actual person.
No, literally the van.
The
Literally a
van.
van.
All right, the van.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I get it now.
Yeah, it took me a second where I was like, I don't remember a van unless you're talking about Nico, and then you said van. I was like, oh, the van.
Yeah,
My
the
favorite
van.
character.
No,
Um,
like that van has so much weird personality for literally just being a car that is being driven by someone.
That's true. Yeah, there are a lot of like really dumb things that they do in the game, but it's all in good taste. And some of the van summons, I guess you could call them, are like part of the reason why it's just so good and it's so comedically timed well. So
Yeah, you could tell. I knew it was a new director, but you could tell he knew what he was doing. Like
Yeah.
it's good. If you like the Devil May Cry series or like fast action paced games like Bayonetta, God of War, etc., play 5.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so we are steadily approaching number 1, and this is actually just another one of those games that I didn't get a chance to play the year it came out, but kind of had some time, and I was like, you know what, I should really do this, because a lot of my friends were playing it at the time. They were finally getting into it too, and I was really surprised and impressed. But my number 1 is Spider-Man for PS4.
Ooh, good choice.
Ooh.
Yeah, not Spider-Man 2 for the PS1. That was actually the game that I played on stream as a joke, where I was like, "Oh, hey, this new Spider-Man game came out. We're not gonna play that." But yeah, the PS4 game. That's actually that's another one of my few platinums, alongside like Rock Band 2. That one's a fun one. But anyway, and it's mostly because the trophies were so doable. There are some trophy sets that I really don't like. Mostly just from like, especially some Capcom games do it pretty horribly, or in my opinion, pretty horribly, where they expect you to play the game about 3 or 4 times, depending on the game, in order to get it. Or some of them involve multiplayer, and I'm shut in, so it's not really my thing. But the trophies were doable. They were fun. The entire game, again, it's another one of those things where it's not challenging, really. Especially on the higher difficulties, it can get pretty challenging. It really only starts to get challenging when you try to collect everything, or 3-star or 5-star everything, like get the highest ranking on things. I think somebody kind of said in a book I read somewhere that that's like Nintendo's methodology into creating adaptable difficulty, where the main game itself is like pretty easy and breezy, but challenging a little bit, and then it's really when you want to do the extra stuff that it gets hard. Spider-Man does that to a T. And again, like everyone says it, but the web swinging was really fluid. It felt really good to just kind of go around town and do stunts.
Whee!
And just do all these like fun, crazy things that you really couldn't do in previous iterations of like Spider-Man games in general. So it just felt really good. I had a really good time with it. And basically for me, the number one thing for me on a video game is it fun? Because I'm getting to a point where I just don't have time for really like long drawn out games, but the narrative's really good, and I'm like, but I don't want to have to play something that I hate in order to get to a story that I like.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really tough for me to like. Narrative's number 2 on my list of what makes a game good, but number 1 is it fun? And Spider-Man was really fun, and even the challenging bits of it were still fun. So just trying to figure out how to do combos and all that it was just a really fun time. So like fun. Like it's really what it comes down to. And that's why that's my number 1. So
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Andrew, did you play through most of the Batman games, the Arkham games?
I did. The only one that I haven't beaten all the way is Arkham Knight, because screw the Riddler trophies.
Yeah.
I got like 20 of them, and I went, I'm done forever.
It gets better when you do the Riddler car challenges.
No, it doesn't.
I know.
It got DLC this weekend. Can you believe that?
I know. That game's been out since,
Wow,
what, 2015?
Yeah, it was like practically a launch window title for the PS4. Yeah, it got a new
Damn.
skin that was originally like an
Super
exclusive.
It was like
a
E3 exclusive.
Yeah, and then they were just like, here you go, whatever.
We promised to release it in 2020. Here you go.
That's what we said. So, but yeah, no, the Arkham games are really good too, just for pretty much the same reasons. And it was hard to do that transition, right? Like with the battling in Spider-Man is much more fast-paced and fluid. And so when I played the E3 demo a couple of years ago, it was really tough to understand it, because Batman is very stiff, but also based off of like a tempo. It's almost like a rhythm game practically.
Yeah, it is.
So that was really fun, but once you get the hang of Spider-Man's combo system, you don't mash buttons nearly as much as I thought you were going to. So that's it for me.
Okay, I guess it means my turn again, and I feel like mine is going to be really expected almost, but my number 1 is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I
It
feel
has
like
my husband Dimitri in it.
Wow. Outright says it.
they really hired your husband to play
Yes,
to be in
they
the game.
did.
That's
How come we weren't invited to
crazy.
the wedding? Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Did you meet him in the game? And
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My heart is swelling. So yeah, it just has I'm just laughing now. The story is real good, and it's honestly the first Fire Emblem game that I'm really super immersed in. I'm actually technically still playing it because I'm planning on playing all of the routes. I played Blue Lions first, and now I'm making my way through Golden Deer. So I'm just all in. It's been a long time since I've set aside so much time to play like a game like this.
Yeah.
For long periods of time. Like I will sit down and sink hours into it, whereas usually for most anything else, and even like Dragon Quest Builders, I would just sit down, play for 30 minutes, put it down, and then go back periodically. Fire Emblem, I find myself sitting down and sinking hours into it and having tea with Dimitri for half of that. But that's besides the point.
So really, it wasn't the fact that you were playing the game. You were just trying to, spend some quality time with your new husband.
Yes, exactly. You got
Yeah.
it. You got it.
Yeah.
It's
Got to
so
do that
good.
work-life balance there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my experience with my number one game. It's not because Dimitri's in it or anything, but that's whatever.
It's a perk.
Yes.
Fire
it's
Emblem's
perfect.
really been killing it lately. The
It
last,
really has.
Like handful of games have just been like people are really hyped up a Fire Emblem now.
Yeah.
Once they found out that people like dating anime characters, they really started hitting it off.
Yeah, there you go.
At least
But
in
you
North
can't
America.
have too much
At least
dating.
in North America.
yeah.
You can't
too.
have too much dating because then you get fates.
Yeah.
True. A lot of people were angry at Fates.
Yeah, Fates was like the one where it was like, no one really likes this game.
Fates.
I have
It's
too much
really
dating.
good though.
Fates had a lot of bad decisions in it. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like
Fates
being
also,
three
like-
different games in one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to pull the Pokemon Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yes,
Three
yeah.
Houses is just Fates done right.
Yeah,
probably.
I can see
Okay.
that.
That's yeah. I can see that comparison.
All right, what's yours, Josh?
Yeah, so my number one is Cadence of Hyrule. I
Ooh.
love Cadence of Hyrule. Love Cadence. I got so wrapped up in Cadence. I didn't play it a ton, but it's because it's a pretty short experience, and like you play it a lot and you play it over and over again. But the little experience that I had with it, the few hours that I played it, are just so memorable and fun, and we have friends who did some of the music for it, and I'm just like
So proud of them.
I'm so happy for them, and it just like it made me like more excited about the game, and then
Me
I get there
too.
and I'm going into it already loving Crypt of the Necrodancer. Like I already played the shit out of Crypt of the Necrodancer. So yeah, that's my top spot. If you have not played Cadence of Hyrule, please do. It's like a
Agreed.
rhythm-based like a rhythm game, dungeon crawler, randomizer, like that. It's got all these crazy elements to it, and I think that Cadence of Hyrule is definitely a good jumping on point for that kind of game.
Agree.
And I want them to
Agree.
make way more crossovers and stuff like that. I hope that they get to do that because that
Me
was so
too.
well done.
All right. My number one for 2019 was a surprise hit that just literally got announced the day it was released. That's Tetris 99.
Ooh, good
Really?
choice.
Oh.
That's a
Because
funny choice.
no one saw that coming. And
No, I
then-
wasn't expecting Tetris 99, but I mean it makes sense now that you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
it
I
didn't
honestly,
really occur to me.
yeah, it didn't really dawn on me that like I would care about a battle royale game. And that's exactly what Tetris is. Tetris 99 is. It's just pure chaos. The soundtrack, even just with like the one or two songs they had at the beginning, were really good, and they've added a lot over the year.
Yeah.
They've like you had to pay for the DLC because it was free originally,
Yeah.
But they added like actual proper modes for like local multiplayer. There's private rooms. They've added team
interesting.
battles. They've added extra skins, including ones you couldn't get from doing the
I didn't know
challenges.
any of this.
They've added
yeah.
a lot. Like it's a fully
Yeah.
fleshed out Tetris game now. It's not just that
Well.
multiplayer only mode.
Yeah,
Time
The
to pick
multiplayer
that up
only mode
again.
is the free section of it, and then once you start paying for like the DLC stuff, that's when you unlock all like the single player stuff and like the extra
I
skins and
see.
yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really dope. And me and Brooke have been playing it a lot this year, and yeah, no, I totally agree with that one. That's a good
Time
pick.
to boot that up.
Yeah,
That was like- that was one of DM's like big obsessions over the last year was Tetris 99 and a lot of Picross actually.
yeah. I'm crossed out at the moment, but which is saying something for me. But yeah, no, like Tetris 99 was just such a big surprise, and honestly, like I just love it. And even now, I'll just be like, all right, I'm just in the mood for some Tetris. I'm gonna go get my ass handed to me by whoever's still playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
that's
times.
why I gave it my number one for what came out last year.
Awesome. All right. So I think we have a little bit of time left, and we can talk a little bit about kind of what games we're looking forward to next year. This doesn't have to be a new game coming out. Again, this can be something that's like maybe you're just finally getting the chance to play it for the first time. We're doing this instead of last year's where we picked a worst game of all time, because I think we kind of all weirdly struggled at that. We weren't really able to come up with a one very easily.
Ironically,
Yeah.
I have a list of 3.
I think
have a
John's
three-
the only
I-
one here who goes out of his way to play
To
bad
play-
games.
Yeah. I
Well, no,
know,
here's
yeah.
the thing.
I was-
No, because the funny thing is, 2 of the 3 games on this list, most people probably wouldn't consider like. So we have a podcast where we do Game of the Year. We did it like 2 weeks ago. So I have like a whole document with all the stuff here. Like I have like 2019's 20XX Game of the Year, 2019's 2018 Game of the Year, most disappointing, surprise of the year, best audio, Patreon Game of the Year, and then our top 10 and like pile of shame and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
I can just list off 3 disappointing games that I wrote down right away.
He'll just like hand them out to
That
each
doesn't
of
surprise
us.
me at all.
All right,
That'll be
Yoshi's
our worst
Crafted
games,
World,
too.
number 3 most disappointing of last year. Mario Kart Tour, number 2 most disappointing of last year. Number 1 most disappointing, Contra Road Corp. That game was awful.
Oh no.
All 3 of those sound
Oh.
about right. Yeah.
Boom. Done. Thank you for
Done.
tuning
Done.
in.
All right. But yeah, a lot of what I'm looking forward to in 2020 is just like cleaning up a house. I have so many save files that have not been beaten yet that I just have to go in and do it. Like, Dark Moon isn't going to beat itself.
Oh god.
What
Dark
Fair
Moon
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the 3DS. What up?
It does beat
for the
itself.
Nintendo 3DS.
For
From
Nintendo's 3DS.
For Nintendo's 3DS.
Look, okay, do you want me to go through the list? It's a big list.
Like top 3 on the list.
Well, right now I'm playing through Watch Dogs 2, Pokemon Ultra Sun, and Tales of Vesperia. Because
Heck yeah!
Good choices.
yeah, Tales of Vesperia I'm actually streaming, so I'm gonna plug that. And then we're doing that 4-player co-op. And Pokemon Ultra Sun is literally like, it took me 3 years to beat Alpha Sapphire. 3 years. Because the game's boring. But I had similar issues with Ultra Sun.
I can't say I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then I got like Watch Dogs 2, which I literally like, I started playing it earlier this year. As we turn into 2020, I started playing it again, and I realized that the last time I'd played it was like December of 2016. I literally hadn't touched that game in almost 4 years. So,
Damn.
so I'm finally beating that, and just a couple other things like Splatoon 2. I actually never played the single player.
Oh yeah, I never finished the single player. I preferred
Same.
the Octo expansion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
I haven't
single
even
player,
bought that yet. Yeah, a couple other things like Octopath, World of Final Fantasy. I actually started Final Fantasy 2 for the NES and got pretty far in it, and then just never
Nice.
finished it. So, but I think like once we hit like March and May, like that's when all the good games come out.
Like
Sure.
like I was gonna say Assassin's Creed because I wrote AC on here, but I meant Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
Animal
like
Crossing
a particular
Assassin's
a
Creed New
particular
Horizons.
furry simulator's coming out in March. I'm a little ambivalent towards Animal Crossing because when that game
How
comes
dare
out, I'll
you.
play it for. Look, I play it for
That was
about
so
a month. nobody plays it with me, and then I get bored and I leave it alone.
No.
And then the cockroaches form.
People will be playing this one. I'm excited.
I know. So yeah, I'm a little looking forward to that, but but then like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Last of Us 2, PS5's coming out soon, so I'm kind of looking forward to playing Ghost of Tsushima on that. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I have like a few longer games that from like previous years that I want to try to beat this year. Witcher 3, obviously, I mentioned that earlier, is like one that I want to finish finally. I want to finally get to Persona 5 when the Royal thing comes out. So when that rolls out, I want to play that.
My original copy is still sealed.
What?
My original copy is still sealed.
And for like new games coming out, Animal Crossing is a no-brainer. I think that just kind of goes without saying.
Yes.
Excited for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got to play the demo of it, and it was really solid. I've never played the original, so this is going to be me like experiencing it for the first time, so I'm really excited about that.
The Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Oh, you're going to see a lot of things that weren't in the original.
I'm sure.
I also haven't played the original. I know that because my wife Brooke is really, really into JRPGs, and I'm like the exact opposite, but she wants to play that. We're going to play that together, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, because it's got kind of like this, like, I'm excited for it because it's got the thing where you switch between like real-time action and more turn-based, and then you can swap between those two modes. And that appeals to me a lot because I can just swap it over to action if I'm feeling like bored or something. You know what I mean?
Honestly, the action
slow.
gameplay is really solid.
Yeah.
It plays super smooth.
I'm looking forward to it a lot, actually, because I've never played Final Fantasy VII either.
Have been.
So
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Another one would be Mystery Dungeon. I love the Mystery Dungeon games, and like I'm very excited because cute little Pokemon.
Yes.
Cute little Pokemon. I haven't played the demo yet, but I think I might just wait for the full thing to come out and then just jump in on it.
Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. The demo carries over just into the full game anyway.
I know,
so it's
but I'm like, I don't want to hit the end and then forget what I was doing. So
yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like you, and also you get to the end and you're like, I just want to play more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for it all to come out so I can binge it.
And I think the one of the standout ones that wouldn't really be on much of anyone's radar right now probably would be Fogs.
Oh yes.
Fogs? Andrew knows.
I do.
Fogs.
She's been waiting for that game for years.
I know.
God, I forgot
dude,
about
the
this
people
game.
at their booth know me.
Wait, what?
They literally watch me
What is
walk
this
up and
game?
they're like, "Oh, you're here again."
What is this game?
It's basically like, okay, you know Cat Dog?
Yes.
It's
the
Dog
cartoon?
Dog.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Dog the game.
It's Cat Dog, but Dog, and then you control the two heads, and then it's a puzzle game, and you can actually have someone else control the other head. So you work together to solve all of these cute little puzzles. It's adorable. You should play it with Brooke.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that's a
sounds
good
awesome,
couch
actually.
co-op.
It's super cute, dude. Like I've been waiting for this game for literally years. I'm literally like in one of their YouTube videos because they caught me playing their game.
That's right.
Yeah. And then I walked up. I keep going to their booth every single time I'm at a convention, and they're like, "You're here a lot. You're in our video, and you're here a lot. Are you
Release
excited?"
the game and I'll stop showing up.
I know. I'm like, I feel awkward now. It's really weird.
You became a regular at the booth.
I
Yeah.
did. I don't know how that happened, but I really did. And now they pick on me a little bit. They're like, "Wow, you sure do love dogs."
Say.
So Fogs is really cute. Check it out. The demo was super solid and just really adorable. I'm very excited.
All right, Josh, what about you?
So yeah, Animal Crossing New Horizons is really all that I'm looking forward to at this moment in time. I'm just gonna devote the whole year to just playing that. That's pretty
Josh,
much my
trade
idea.
Items with me.
Yes,
Andrew,
yes.
trade items with me.
Yes.
I will be playing it so much for like a long time. That's my spring game of choice, and I feel like it's gonna last a long time.
I pretty
It's
much
like-
expect everyone who's getting that game to just suddenly disappear for like a month.
Yeah.
when that game
Pretty much.
comes out.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's just
gonna
gonna
go
be Animal Crossing screen caps on Twitter for about a month and a half.
I'm gonna like walk upstairs and Reese is gonna be playing that while playing 14, and I'm just gonna be like,
I'm
how
not
are you
even-
doing this?
When
I'm
New
just gonna be
Leaf came
pole
out,
vaulting
I
back and forth
honestly
across the river.
when New Leaf came out, I honestly wasn't gonna buy it originally, but I kept seeing people on Twitter talking about the game. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go get it.
I feel bad because I played New Leaf. New Leaf was my first one, and I did it as like a joke. I was like, I'm gonna just be like the worst mayor, and I was having fun just like doing like stupid like hashtags of like just sending people like threatening messages and stuff like that. And then I was like, wow, there's really not much to this game, is there? And just kind of stopped.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem like a game that you would like, John.
And-
Which
to
is
be
funny
honest.
because I love Harvest Moon,
Yeah,
but I
Harvest
don't
Moon
like
is a
Animal
bit
Crossing.
Is a bit more like objective based though.
Yeah.
So I can see that. Like Harvest Moon definitely gives you a time frame, a solid time frame in which you can actually fail
Sorry, babe.
something.
yeah. When
There's
Dad
really
comes
no
home.
My
failing
wife-
in Animal
My
Crossing.
wife just heard me say I don't like Animal Crossing. Now she's sad.
Is that her in the background? That's what I
Tell her
heard.
that I will play Animal Crossing with her.
Miss A says she will play Animal Crossing with you, hun. She says hooray.
Yay!
All right. Is that it?
I think that's it.
I was like, shit.
I haven't said anything.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, John.
Oh,
well,
wait, yeah, John.
If Josh,
What's your thing? I'm done with my Animal Crossing thing.
All right. Is that the only game you're looking forward to? Is Animal Crossing?
That's the only game I'm looking forward to.
Good choice.
I'm serious about that too. Is the weird thing.
Good
Maybe Breath of the
choice.
Wild 2, but we don't know if that's coming out in 2020.
Yeah, that's
So-
kind of why I left
Delayed.
that out. I was like,
I'll
that
just
would
play
go
Animal
without
Crossing until Breath of the Wild 2
saying,
comes out.
I normally am not super excited for stuff coming out the next year because I tend to forget and I have to catch up on a lot of stuff in the past. So I loaded up one of those, like, here's a list of games that are scheduled to come out in 2020, and I realized there's actually a lot of games I'm excited for.
I did that right before the call.
Yeah. Cyberpunk 2077, I really want to see what the hell that's going to be when it comes out.
Oh, yeah, that one looks interesting.
But that's not till, like, September. I think a lot of the stuff I'm waiting for is, like, September or later, so, like, the first half of the year is just going to be really light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal I want to get excited for, but I never finished Doom 2016. But
Ooh.
everything I see of Doom Eternal looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Final Fantasy VII Remake. Gears Tactics. So I love Gears of War. That's like my guilty pleasure series. And they basically said, yeah, we're going to make a tactics game out of this franchise, and it's going to be like 40 hours long. And I'm just like, oh, please give to me now. I'm
An
super...
actual single-player campaign. Here you go.
No, man, all the Gears campaigns are really good. You should...
Yeah.
Gears of War actually is like super solid.
I should just whip out the Xbox One I have sitting in the closet.
I feel bad. I have an Xbox One X, and it has played one game so far.
Yeah, didn't you say it was like still in its plastic wrapping or whatever?
I got an Xbox One X in like a raffle on a collector's group, and it stayed sealed in box for maybe 3 or 4 months, and I maybe even longer than that. I actually didn't hook it up till we moved to this house, and I think I got it in November,
Yeah.
and we got here in May. And I only hooked it up because I'm like, I guess I should probably actually hook it up for streams. And it is streamed 2 games so far.
Practically paying for
Tempest
itself.
4000 and Pro Bull Riding.
Oh my god.
So I've used it well.
Look, like I said the only time we used it was to watch stars. That's it. We saw American
I feel bad
Gods.
because I was so pumped for Gears 5, and I'm like, I installed it day one. I even got it like days early because I pre-ordered the special edition and everything, and then never played it.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's literally sitting on top of the Xbox One now, being like, I'm ready to go. Just turn me on.
Just like looking at its wristwatch.
Yeah.
It's like any day now.
If I had a VR headset, I'd be excited for Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life
Yeah.
Alyx looks interesting.
What's that?
Oh,
So
yeah.
they basically made a new Half-Life game for VR.
Oh.
And you play instead of Gordon Freeman, you play as Alex Vance, the girl, the main female lead from Half-Life 2.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I wish I
it's,
had a VR headset.
yeah, that's the problem. If it wasn't for the fact you need a VR headset, I'd be more excited for that.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite.
If I knew much of anything about Half-Life, I'd be very excited for it.
All you need to know is Gordon Freeman. Gordon Freeman.
I do know that part.
Gordon Freeman. That's
Gordon
pretty much
Freeman.
it. You're
Gordon
caught up.
Freeman.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You-
Just go
you
ahead and play
mentioned-
Alex now.
You mentioned
Okay.
Halo Infinite. I forgot
Load
that
it
Halo
up.
Infinite was even coming out.
It's an Xbox Series X game now.
For the Series X, yeah.
It was supposed to be an Xbox One X game, and that didn't happen.
That's right. Halo.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
+1 to Animal Crossing.
I mean, if that comes out, it won't be until like November, probably, if it's coming out.
Oh yeah, it's
Still
November or
2020.
December. It's down at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No more Heroes 3. No more Heroes
more
3.
Heroes 3.
No more Heroes 3.
I've only played the first one, and I've not played the second one. So.
2 plays better. I'll be real.
Yeah.
Because they took out the overworld thing and they actually made it like more streamlined. They added more. All the jobs are now 8-bit minigames.
Yeah.
And
a lot of the jobs were not really all that fun in the original.
Yeah, and then they added like there's a lot more fights you have to do and stuff like that. It was also a more serious tone to the overall story, which was kind of like a nice change of pace, but it also still had Travis just kind of being an idiot.
Yeah.
And you actually got to play as Shinobu and Henry, which was also a nice touch. So I'm curious what they're gonna do with No More Heroes 3, because they showed me the trailer that aired like from the Game Awards, and watching it up until the very end, I'm like, this is a No More Heroes 3 trailer? And then Travis literally shows up. I'm like, oh no, now it actually is. All right. Because it's like, it's like the story. It's basically E.T. The trailer is literally for like 2 minutes. Is just E.T. It's just this kid finds this alien. They have fun and live together, and they build a rocket to get him home. And the alien's like, I'll come visit someday. And then it fast forward to present day where the kid is now a CEO of a company that basically rules a city, and the aliens show back up, but they're basically he's the prince of like a warrior race now, and he's like, yeah, I was in prison for a while. Me and my friends broke out, and now we're gonna like take over the planet.
Oh yeah.
And so now that's the plot, and Travis has to stop an alien invasion, and I'm just like, fuck yes, give more. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, because it's a sequel to a game that I want to see them improve on.
I need to play the first one.
It's so good. And yes. What should be improved with it?
Boss fights would be nice. I know it went against the feel of the first game, but I hated the chase sequences. They weren't fun.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I would like to see more fleshed out combat maybe, but because the exploration they already had nailed down pretty well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Resident 3 remake, obviously. Skatebird. There we go. Game of the year, Skatebird.
Skatebird!
Oh, God.
I'm so excited for that.
And Watchdog Legions. That's me. That's my list.
Did you play the first two?
Nope. Don't care. Don't care.
That's you know what? That's valid.
I think
Like,
I think they straight up said like, yeah, you probably don't need to play the first two. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, you definitely don't need to play the first one. That one's garbage. 2 is actually not bad.
I've heard that a lot about the first one. I've heard not nice things about Watch Dogs 1, but I've heard better
there's
things
nothing
about 2.
nice. Yeah, 2 is good. If you got time on your hands, you can definitely play that one. And we can talk about it together because I'm playing it now.
Ooh.
Yeah. We have to talk about every scene. All right, so anyway, so I think we should wrap it up because it's been about an hour or so.
Yeah, hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Hour and 7 minutes, 38 seconds, 39 seconds, 40. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on this fantastic,
Thank you for having us.
lovely, amazing 2019 edition of The Games We Played. And hopefully I'll see you all next year.
Yeah, it was fun. Just going through my past year of games. I played more than I thought I did, but also I'm looking forward to a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And 2020 is going to be a good year, so I'm looking forward to looking at what my list is going to look like by the end of it. So
I can already tell you that Animal Crossing is probably going to be #1 next year. Just putting that out there.
I have a feeling
Number
that's
one,
going to be a
right
lot of people's Game of the Year list.
Yup.
I'm
It's
feeling
gonna be
Animal
a
Crossing and then
predictable
nothing
#1.
else.
oh, I'm sorry. There were other games I was supposed to play?
I'm gonna say we will absolutely play Animal Crossing together.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just let me know. 'Cause
Yes.
then I'll feel better.
Yes,
about
Andrew.
It.
Yes.
Animal Crossing game.
Animal Crossing buddies, go.
That's
Heck
right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all have fun. I'm going to go play Doom Eternal.
No, look,
Rip and tear. Rip and
you
tear.
didn't
Rip
say-
and tear.
I didn't say that I wasn't going to play both at once. All right.
So
I
you're
never
going to be
said
running
that.
around Animal Crossing yelling rip and tear. All right, got it.
It won't make for a fun stream, but look.
Fight Tom Nook. Rip and tear. Rip and tear.
Rip and tear.